By the clock on the county wall, it's 9 o'clock. So we'll call the meeting to go order and begin with a pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And with that, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Errors, omissions, corrections, changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yep. Motion carries. Next item, approval of the previous minutes of the board meeting, March 23rd, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Further discussion on the minutes? I know they are a very abbreviated form of what.
No, that's the only part I have I'm so used to more words, I guess, but reasons why we voted or whatever. So
I mean,
anyway,
I'm using Robert's rules, which
I know
says
you-
that, to give the context if it's needed. So if you chat a lot about it and people give reasons, I try to state that in there.
I know.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is public comment. I don't see anybody else that's going to be making a public comment. Is there any public comment? Guess you should ask the question.
Bob, this is Eric. I'm gonna log off here and reboot my computer to see if my camera comes on. So I'm gonna be gone for just a little bit.
Okay.
Wait for you.
No, that's fine. Just keep going. I'll just leave.
We'll miss you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
I don't see anybody. I don't see John for the COVID-19 update yet.
No.
So we'll bypass the COVID update from Health and Human Services for a little bit. And that means young
Coming on
Tanner.
right now. He's coming on right now.
Not Tanner,
He's
I'm
here.
sorry.
He's here.
We gotta back you up again. A few more minutes, you don't have to be in school. John, COVID-19 update if you're there. There he
Holy
is.
cow, you guys are fast. It's only 3 minutes after. So, let's see. I was just getting some information. I think the big news today is yesterday the state of Wisconsin opened up vaccinations to anybody over 16, as Minnesota did last week. So that's a real helpful thing, as even though Minnesota was open to 16 and over, if people were trying to get a vaccine in Wisconsin at one of our healthcare providers, they were not open. So again, throughout our experience with COVID, trying to have everybody heading in the same direction at the same time has been a challenge. We get there after a few days and things settle down, but so we were really pleased to see the state of Minnesota go that direction. We have a busy week with vaccinations this week. We're getting our first doses of Johnson & Johnson. We have a small Johnson & Johnson clinic scheduled for tomorrow. And we've been doing a little bit of scrambling because we wait to hear on when we get vaccine, and then we need to coordinate that with available staff as well as space at the Four Seasons. So, but it'll be busy. We've got a significant clinic in the morning tomorrow with Moderna, and then Johnson & Johnson, and then we've got a large second dose clinic on Thursday. So all told, we'll have done probably over 700 doses this week, a combination of first and second doses. Hang on for 1 second here. As of yesterday, we, as far as percentage of people over 16 who are vaccinated in Houston County, we still are, I think we're in the top 7 or 8 in the state. Our percentage of people over 65 is very high. And so we've really made good progress, but we're not done. And I think some of some of the realities of vaccine are going to start to change for us. As you know, right now we're able to fill clinics really easily because we opened up to 16 and over. Prior to that, having to follow the different priority groups was getting increasingly difficult, as there aren't as many people in some of these fine distinction in priority groups. So we're able to fill those clinics pretty easily now, but I think we're going to get to a point where there are people who are not real excited about the vaccine or unwilling. And so some of our strategy is going to need to shift here in the coming weeks, as we are looking to have as many people get vaccinated as possible as a path out of the pandemic. So those are some of the big things from the world of COVID this week. I don't know, are there any questions? Yes,
I have.
Mr. Burns.
On the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that we get, I know there's a limited amount. Are people requesting that? Are you just appointing who gets it, or how is that distributed?
There are some people who have said they want to wait for the Johnson & Johnson. Our advice to people all along has been take the first vaccine that is offered to you, because it's hard to know. We still don't have a really good idea of the flow of available vaccine. You know, if we had a large supply of both, then I think people's preferences, obviously we would honor those. But, you know, I think it was probably 3-4 weeks ago, I said that we were anticipating Johnson & Johnson, and then the state changed some of its allocation stuff. And I'm not saying it's good or bad what they did. It's just difficult to predict how much vaccine we'll have. Frequently, I work with kind of the crowd control in the parking lot at the clinics, and a lot of times people say, well, you know, how many are you doing today? And I'll say, you know, we're planning to do this many. And well, do you do that much every day? No, we don't. We give vaccine until we run out. And so this week is a somewhat busy week. We'll be giving vaccines for 2 days, 2 out of 5. And so anyway, there are people who are waiting for Johnson & Johnson. And, you know, we're putting out opportunities for people to schedule clinics. If they choose to do that, I guess I can't stop it, but I do think that it's wise for people to take the first vaccine that's offered. So,
Okay. Thank you.
other questions? Teresa, I think you're muted.
Well, John, do you get enough volunteer nurses to help you keep up with all this?
Yeah, you know, that's really been a hallmark of our effort. And in fact, we're probably going to be doing an interview here with one of the TV stations here in the next day or so, our volunteer community, volunteer nurses, volunteer people who help with registration, people who've helped out just with crowd control as people are coming in and out of the building, it's been really exceptional. And frequently I'm telling you that I think throughout the vaccination effort, we've been in the top 10 of counties in the state. I think that's a tribute to obviously the people in our Public Health and Human Services Department who've worked really hard, but it's also a tribute to the people who in our community who have really stepped up and provided us with or volunteer vaccinators and others who have provided assistance. We just are very grateful for that. And it's also, it's a heavy lift, especially because our staff all have full-time jobs before COVID. And so the different case management types of things, WIC, the work that we do with our social workers, all the folks who are helping out with this effort, they've got full-time jobs. And so being able to spread that a little thinner on our staff because of volunteers in our community has really been a difference maker.
Wonderful.
John, do you feel sometimes that you might be spread too thin, or you're, working long hours? And
I think a lot of us have felt that way for months and months.
Yeah.
And we try to be mindful of that. I want to, with people who have kind of been on the front line of this for a long time, I'm finding myself saying, look, you got to find some time and just get out of here. But very committed professionals who, they're committed to doing what's best for the people they serve here in Houston County. I think that there's hope in seeing the numbers of vaccinations. Obviously, we're all still watching the numbers of new cases and different variants and how those behave. Fortunately, knock on wood, we have seen a real flattening of our numbers to, very few and sometimes no new cases for a day or two. We haven't seen that since last summer. So that's encouraging. But I do think that we'll probably continue to be doing vaccination probably well into the summer. Long answer to your question, Commissioner Johnson. I know there's a lot of people who are they're giving their all, and they've been giving their all for a long time.
Yeah.
well, I've gotten a lot of compliments from constituents on how it's been handled, and they're very appreciative, and you guys are doing a good job of serving our constituents. So
I think for me personally, I'd have to ask staff, but the vaccination effort it takes a lot of energy, but it's a different kind of thing. It's actually, I don't know, I find it a lot more, I don't know, it kind of builds energy there. It's, as you go to one of these clinics, it's tended to be a pretty almost festive environment. People are really excited to finally have this be happening, and people have expressed all kinds of gratitude. And so it's one of the more gratifying things I've done in my career. So that kind of gives you energy, where a lot of the work with trying to coordinate case investigation and contact tracing, managing a message that's always changing, seeing numbers skyrocketing, that just seemed to be a never-ending tunnel. So I feel like, well, we've been at this for over a year now. In fact, this week marks the first case in a year since the first case in Houston County. And so, but I feel like the vaccination effort has been, it's been a very gratifying experience.
well, it's kind of like I call it your harvest there, John, because
Yeah.
you know, as a farmer, you plant the seed and you toil and work, and you have interruptions and bad luck here and there and everything. And I mean, you guys went through a lot for the year on contact tracing and everything else. And now you finally get to really do something that would, not that you didn't do anything good before, but that you finally get to do something that you've been looking forward to do. So,
Yeah.
Right. That's a great analogy. Harvest is a lot of work too, but there's something gratifying about it.
You get to see the final results is what it is that you're seeing things that are on the
Yep.
positive side.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you too for your support. Thank you to our community, and for all the people who are making this work. It really is a team effort and a community effort.
Very good. Then we will move on. Now, Tanner.
I gotta call the other park committee member here.
Should I
Now,
wait?
we gotta wait for one more person.
we're waiting for the 6th commissioner. Is that it? Or
Call it what you will.
I let him out of the basement once in a while.
It was good. Okay, here he comes. Now, Tanner. We
All right.
turn the floor over to you for your presentation.
Well, I'm here today to gain approval for my Eagle Scout project at Bob Botcher Park. The project will consist of a 175-foot crossbuck fence to keep out unwanted motor vehicles and to provide safe walking and hiking for visitors. The cost of the fence will be $769 with an $84.59 mail-in rebate at Menards. That's pretty much it.
And you're gonna use, besides yourself, you're gonna use your troop and some other volunteers with the project.
Yep, the troop and some leaders and some adults. So,
And how long did you think it was gonna take?
a weekend or two. We plan for the end of April here. So,
where
So-
Go ahead,
Greg.
Bob.
Well, we finished.
Oh, where exactly is this fence going to go? Is this going to go up on the bench up there, or down by the parking lot, or?
yeah, I saw they just laid some like gravel up there, so it'll go right between the gravel and the parking lot there.
Okay, all right.
Hi, Tanner.
Hi, Bob, or not Bob, but Dick.
I don't look like Bob, but yeah, age, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, Bob and I were up there yesterday, and we pretty much marked where the fence should go.
Okay.
We put some lath kind of on line and where there was angle points. Also, how long are these sections?
So the sections will be, I got it right here, 8 feet in between the 4x4 posts.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I ideally, what we measured was about 170 feet, but, give or take, we can add a little bit at both ends.
Yeah, we can always take one of those off too.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think we'll try and use it all.
Okay.
Otherwise, is that attached by just nails or by screws?
Yeah, screws. Yeah, hex bit screws.
Okay. I have just one last thing. When I think it was that Quinn, he had the Eagle Scout that had done the trail a few years ago.
Okay. Yep. Tristan Quinn.
They had requested to camp there.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think it got to be a little bit of a discussion, and I guess I'm going to refer to the secretary of the board to what actually transpired, but I know it was kind of a consensus of the board that, you guys are volunteering, you're doing that job up there. It would be nice to allow them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is
I'm sure
that,
they'd appreciate it.
that is something you're thinking about?
Yeah, it could certainly be.
Okay,
I think we added it that you would just contact the sheriff's department that you're camping up there so they know what's going on.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So are there going to be gates, or is there going to be small openings for people to get through?
Right now there's kind of just big rocks kind of in the roadway, and then the fence will be off to the side.
Okay. But the access to, I mean, it's not going to be fully closed off. You can still access it around the fence for,
Yeah. So there's a road, and then there's like 3 big rocks in the roadway.
Yeah.
Vehicles can't go past, but people can walk through
Okay.
right now.
Fence itself doesn't start until the upper plateau. Run
Right.
parallel to
Right.
that.
Well, yeah, the fence is to keep 4-wheelers off, I'm assuming. So,
I don't know if that'll work or not.
It's just to keep people from walking over the bank.
oh, okay, that's the idea of it. I didn't know if it was for a security fence or a blockage fence or just to keep people from going over the bank. Is that what it is?
Over the
It's a
bank,
nice barrier
for
between-
the trail.
Go ahead, Bob.
I say it's to keep them from going over the bank, and it's a guideline that leads them down to the trail.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's right where the picnic area is too. So it makes it a little bit of a security thing and a little bit of, I think it'll look nice.
Partition type of thing, separating one area from another.
Yeah, the parking lot and the bank from the picnic area.
The question for you, Tanner, with regard to the materials.
Mhm.
I mean, the county pays for the materials. Do you have it lined up that you'll go get them and bring them to the
Yeah,
site?
I can go get them.
Perfect.
So can I have a question? Does he just get the bill and turn the bill into the county if Menards allows him to do it that way? Or do you want us to have somebody pay for it and then the county reimburse that person?
I'm wondering, yeah.
The last time when we did the signage and everything,
Hmm.
Teresa is a commissioner, so she had a county credit card. And so
Okay.
use that, that's the easiest, I think.
Well, couldn't Teresa go to Menards and pay for it, and then all Tanner would have to do is pick it up, or
I think we'd have to have.
Tanner with us.
Tanner's done all the pricing and sizing and measurements, so he'd need to be there to make sure all the materials.
okay.
And then,
But we
but
can go along.
Teresa and I could go along and,
Yeah, and use our county credit card.
Mhm.
Sounds good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for what you're doing.
yes, that's,
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanner.
Thank you. I'm gonna go to school now.
buddy,
Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thank you guys.
yeah, just get in touch with us.
When you want to go.
Yeah.
Yep. I will. I got Dick's number too. So,
Okay, okay.
bye
Okay,
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
bye. Thanks.
The money for this will come out of the budgeted amount that we have for Botcher Park.
Right.
Do we need to do a formal approval of this as a board, or what do you think?
I would think not, because it is part of the budget expenditure.
I'm in favor.
I think we're all in favor of it, so.
Sounds good.
Might as well get them a little water.
So
while
we
you're-
will move on to the,
Okay.
say what?
Pick them up a little water and some juices to drink while they're fencing.
Yeah. Throw in some water, Dick. Yeah.
What do you
So moving on to the consent.
Water and juice.
That's not a bad idea.
We've got a consent agenda with 9 items. Any discussion with regard to the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would like to see the contract on Brian anyhow, just to see it. I've never been involved in one. If that's all right.
Which
You
one?
You want to put Brian's appointment off until the next meeting so you can review his contract?
Whatever works.
I guess I'm all right,
Yeah, I would just like to look it over. I'm on the finance committee and I just kind of like to see it.
Delay it a week isn't going to be a big deal. It's May 1st. So,
Brian, you raised your hand?
Yeah, or see Tess is coming on too. There really isn't a contract per se for reappointment.
No, there isn't a contract for this position. In fact, the terms and conditions of employment are pursuant to the MAPE agreement. The appointment is pursuant to the statute that is cited there, commissioners. So if there were to be a separate contract, that would have been included in the packet.
So it's the job description you're talking about, Greg.
Pardon me, Commissioner?
They said it's the job description that he'd want to see then, not a contract.
We do have a job description, as well as the statutory. We can pull the job description and the relevant statute for commissioner's review, if you wish.
I would like to, I'm just a newbie, so I'd kind of like to see it. I mean, sorry if it's an inconvenience, but I would like
Not
to
an
see it.
inconvenience. We can pull that for you.
It's just a statute. I think we have to reappoint some of these positions periodically by statute.
I'll forward that to you yet right now. How's that?
Okay.
I don't think it's an issue about the quality of the work that Brian does or anything, because he does a heck of a job for the counties. But if you want to look at the job description prior to approval of the appointment, we can put that up until next week.
Okay.
Well, I have nothing against Brian. I just wanted to see what it's all about.
Right.
Sounds good.
Maybe Dewey, you probably want to see what it's all about too, maybe?
I just said, yeah, sounds good. Get some idea here. The quality is there. I know he's on a lot of committees I'm on, so maybe just take a look at it.
There's been a motion made, so are we going to?
We haven't had a
Well, I'll second it for sake of discussion.
Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda, and that would be all 9 items.
And discussion would be that if we want to pull number 4 for 1 week review.
Yep. And then the other one is the consider a hire for the competitive search for an appraiser trainee. There were supposed to have been some numbers for us to look at on that test. Did you ever come up with anything, or?
Commissioners, we don't have those numbers at this time. I'm working with Lucas on what level of one-time monies he may have in his current budget. We'll get together with the finance director on that, as well as what that might mean ongoing. The purpose of that, just to provide some parameters for either this or future discussions, is to have all the current staff, including potential future staff, involved in concurrent training, with the idea that should there be a attrition in the near future, that we would then re-examine staffing levels and in all likelihood go down to 4 appraisers.
We had a,
But no, we were not able to get those numbers together this week, so we can do that and possibly bring that back to you next week with more.
well, yeah,
information.
I think we can do that. We could bring that back also for next week, because I don't see anything on here about approval of, unless you don't need approval for that, to hire Vanguard for training for 120 hours. We talked about that at our personnel committee.
I don't think at this time what we need is, I think what we're looking for is to go forward with the idea of having that contract. We don't, they haven't sent the contract forward yet, Vanguard, for our consideration. I think that as well should be postponed, commissioners, until next week when we have an actual contract in hand for you to look at and act on.
Okay. Well, just
we weren't able to get that to you yet, us yet this week.
just for the other three commissioners' information, this is an addition to hire a fifth appraiser, with knowing that the potential of a future retirement down the road, we don't know, but that then we'll be back to 4. But we as a personnel committee thought that it would be advantageous to try to get some more help in there and get somebody trained up and ready to go before that event. But
Yeah.
Let us bring, yes, I think next week would be better.
so we'll
Would
pull
be
number.
better poised to discuss that with you. We just don't have all the information yet.
Yeah, so we'll pull number 2 then.
I think we should start the search, though. That takes a while.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna,
I mean, I think we should,
then what do we need to look at the numbers for? I mean, that's why I'm asking. So
okay. Yeah, do we?
I think 1 week delay would not adversely affect us. Just I go with pulling 2 and 4.
So we had a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as a whole. Does the initial motioner and the initial person that made the second agree with the exclusion of items 2 and 4?
Yes.
yes,
All right. We've got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda excluding items 2 and 4. Further discussion?
just the other thing. Dennis Yider is being added. Is that we've always had a community member around that committee? I'm just asking.
We actually had 2 community members
okay.
when I was on to begin with, and I can't think of, Ernie Sloan was one of them. Dick took his place. The
Okay.
other lady was from Hoka. I can't remember her name either, but
Oh yeah, that's right. Dick, he's still a member, right? So
yeah, he
yeah,
took.
so yeah. All right. So
But we needed one more person,
no, that's fine.
community member.
Can I ask who is all on the committee?
Donna could probably list them.
Myself and Dewey, Brian, Dick, now the Yider will be on there, Jake, the manager, typically makes up the committee.
Dolph, and then Carol Lapper.
Carol.
Carol from finance, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that Dick was on there. I just kind of keep you guys together here as one, with you. So, but
I tried to separate it. I didn't go to the park to investigate anything.
yeah, but no, that's fine. I just had a question on that. And then I see we're reassigned Christopher Hartley, so we wish him luck in his new job as foreman. So
He's moving up to Pat's spot?
yep.
Yes. Then we gotta hire another truck driver, huh?
Yeah.
Maintenance specialist. Yep.
Good.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to action items. First one is the consideration of the approving of the Department of Ag grant contract agreement. That's Amelia.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
So I'm just back again this year looking for approval to enter into a contract with the Minnesota Department of Ag. This one is to conduct contracted services. It's a continuation of our Japanese hops project that we started in 2019. And all of the funding this year will go to just hiring a contractor to complete herbicide applications. This same language is, or the contract language is very similar to what you've seen in the last couple of years, and it has been vetted through the personnel and attorney's office. Does anybody have any questions?
So this is for the spraying along the river for those noxious weeds?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, yep.
You said this is going to complete the project, Amelia, or will there be a future?
No, not necessarily. Funding got cut drastically this year, and so we are actually very fortunate to get chosen for this grant. We don't really know until they get out there what we're dealing with and what kind of progress they made last year. And so I'd assume if funding is available again next year and there's still a need for it, we may try for it again.
New project. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Department of Ag grant for the
Second.
Japanese hops.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Next action item is a request to approve the issuance of county credit cards to Lucas Onstead and Dewey Severson.
Make a motion to approve the credit cards.
I'll second it.
Motion made.
I just have one question. Dewey, what does it say on your driver's license? Is it actually Dwayne?
Oh, you're
You're
muted.
muted.
You're muted, Dewey.
Dwayne, D-E capital W-A-Y-N-E.
Okay. I better have it the same as, what your driver's license says, otherwise you might not get to use it.
Yeah, that would be fine. I got various credit cards, so that can work.
Or would you just keep the county one separate so you charge your personal stuff on there? Because it happens on occasion.
Okay.
Yeah. Carol will watch you. She'll watch you. So.
I have a new outfit picked out when we get back to normal.
Huh.
Any further discussion?
Go, Carol, right?
As maybe you could mix it in with your Menards purchase for the other, if they've got something there for you.
Yeah, right.
No, that wouldn't happen either. Sorry.
Any further discussion before we call the vote? We'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
do you want to abstain?
That'll probably be the best.
Okay. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to the request to accept liquid chloride quote from Northern Salt Incorporated. Brian.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yeah, so we received several quotes and bids here over the past week. So I have the next, I think, 9 items on the agenda. So first one is accept the quote for the low quote, which is from Northern Salt at 99.5 cents a gallon for liquid chloride delivered to either Caledonia or Spring Grove. Out of this quantity, 34,250 gallons is for on county roadways, 37,850 is for on township and city streets. I would like to point out that this is 20% reduction on chloride quantity from last year and a 35% reduction from 2019. So we've looked at areas that we can cut back on or apply later on, so try to reduce that down. So otherwise, this is something we've been doing every year.
So the reduction is off the county roads or what?
The 20% from last year, 35% from 2 years ago, that's all county roads, yes.
Okay. And how about for price? Is that about the same or?
Yeah, price has been real similar, slight increase over the past several years, but really it's been hovering right in the same ballpark, give or take a few cents.
Do it.
We're talking $1.40 a gallon probably applied.
Yeah, applied would be, well, $1.16 a gallon applied by the contractor. Typically, we've been applying it ourselves with the township or township officer going along with on the township road or city streets.
No,
Think you put that on for 16 cents a gallon? That's pretty cheap.
Well, we can run the numbers and look at that and see if it's better to have them apply it. We can go that route if it's more cost effective that way. Keep our staff freed up for other stuff.
Do we?
If I were on the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do we?
I guess my question is, a newbie now, the spray is at request of the farmer or the resident, or is that determined by the county?
Yeah, so on the township and city system, that's it's at the request of those entities, which usually comes from the resident. On the county roadways, it is the county determines that based on houses, if they're full-time versus seasonal usage, and then also safety factors, amount of truck traffic on the roadways, vehicle volume, all that stuff. So we do not go out to the residents on the county system.
I talked with Sam a little bit too, and he said that we should be getting a contract from people that we put it on free. Otherwise, we could end up like Mount Prairie, have a lawsuit, somebody slides off the road and rolls their car. We are liable, I guess, he says. So.
Well, we will have a contract with the supplier. We'll have an agreement with all of them. We have a draft agreement written up for each of these approvals. Our road right away is our responsibility as a county. Whether it's in front of a house or in front of a field or any place. So I don't think there's any issues with resident liability, but I can definitely talk to Sam about that.
Well, you provide a contract for townships, don't you? I mean, isn't there a thing that they sign off on?
Townships provide us with a list of where they want it applied, and then they provide typically one of their board members.
No, I know that, but usually they have an approval that they approve, so many gallons, and then they sign something. That's not a contract for services.
It's not a contract for services per se, and that's one of the things that I have been kind of working on getting put together. So we have a contract, blanket covering this and any other type of work we do in the township system. So they tell us what they use for quantities. They kind of guarantee that it's going to be within 20% up or down of that quantity. So that way the county doesn't get left holding the cost if they don't need that much.
Yep.
But we don't have a definitive contract per se with the townships.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to put it on this year because I'd be liable if somebody would have an accident right in front of my place on chloride, then I'm liable. So I'm not going to put it on. It ain't worth it. The more chloride you put on, the faster they deplete.
The dust is a speed bump?
It might work for about 10 minutes, do we?
make
I
a
live, I live in a different situation. I have two huge dairies right around me and a bunch of cash croppers. I mean, 90% of the summer, my windows are closed with the air conditioning on because of the dust.
That's why you need dust control.
No. It's gone in 3 weeks.
Has there been a motion made yet, or I make a motion we accept the chloride quote from Northern Salt.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes. Action item 4, shouldering bid from Pruning Rock Products.
Yep. So for maintenance rock, each year we do one of two things. Either we do maintenance rock on the road surfacing, or we do aggregate for the shoulders. This year we're proposing to do aggregate for the shoulders. So we bid out maintenance rock. We had 2 bidders. The low bid was Bruning Rock Product with a value of $267,638.45. Our estimate was $306,240, so it came in 12.6% under our estimate. So I recommend approval for Bruning Rock.
I'll make a motion to approve the Bruning Rock.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the shouldering bid from Bruning Rock Products. Further discussion?
So
Who else
Brian,
bid? You said there was 2 bidders. Who was the other bidder?
Second bidder was Dunn Blacktop.
so Brian, do you alternate every other year on, or do you try to do all the roads?
No, we do a percentage. So historically, we've gone about half of the roadways each year, and we've bounced back and forth. 1 year surfacing, 1 year shouldering, although it has varied. I think the last 2 years we've done surfacing, so now we're doing shouldering. But we'll only get about half the system done.
Okay. Well, I just want to say that shouldering is a very important maintenance item, because Winona County, they don't do no shouldering, and their roads show it, because they just break apart on the edges all the time, and you got to have a good shoulder to support that road. So I think it's money well spent.
Yeah, and the roadways that we don't put new rock on, we try to go out there and we try to pull as much rock back up against the shoulder that we can to make it safer and protect that edge.
Yeah.
I know this year it's been a bad year for from the winter time. You ought to see all the gravel in the ditches from the town roads, and it happens on the shoulders for the blacktop too, but there's nothing you can do about that. But I'm glad that we're maintaining that. So
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Action item number 5, the request to accept the stockpile quotes.
Yes. So this one, what we do is we accept, and we do this aggregate stockpile. So this is rock that's in a quarry that we can go to that quarry and get rock as needed. So we never know what quarries are going to have rock available, where our job sites are going to be, or where we have issues where we need to have rock. So we accept all bids, and then when we go to need rock, we look at where that rock is located, who has rock available, what that price is, and what's the most cost-effective quarry to get that rock out of. So that is why we accept all quotes. This is also used, like if we get into a disaster, we need to get some rock quickly. We don't need to go out there and re-quote stuff in a hurry. We have numbers from every contractor. So we have this year there was 6 bids plus the state does bidding as well, which Gangler Quarry bids on the state one. So we actually have 7 quarries that we can get rock out of at various prices, or 7 suppliers, and some suppliers have multiple quarries. So spread throughout the county.
Quite a variance, wasn't there?
Yes, there always is. Yeah, usually we try to stick with the lowest cost, obviously, whenever possible. So,
But if it's right next door to a project, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Move to accept the stockpile quotes.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve stockpile quotes. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yep. Motion carries. Action item 6, equipment rental quotes.
Yep. So similar to stockpile, this is the same way where we get equipment rental rates on various equipment. Never know what we're going to need throughout the year. We accept them all, and the same thing when we have a project, we need to get equipment out there that we don't have and can't do ourselves. We can call up the contractor with the lowest price on that specific equipment. If they have it available, great. We have them come out and help us with the work. If they're not available, we can go to the next contractor and keep working your way up the list as far as price goes. So this again comes in handy when we have disaster type of stuff. We need to get contractors out there quickly. So something we do every year. We usually have a pretty good list of contractors that provides numbers to us.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead with that.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the equipment rental quotes. Further discussion? Hearing none. Martin, I misstepped on somebody. What? All right, hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes. Motion carries. Action item 7, the crack fill quote from Farner Asphalt.
Yes, so each year we do crack filling. This year we reduced the quantities down some from past years. Overall, our road conditions are getting a little bit better. We don't have quite the amount of crack filling needed. We received bids from 4 bidders this year. Farner Asphalt was low at $1.45 a pound. Total estimated cost $21,750. Our estimate was $26,100, so 17% under our estimate. So my recommendation is to approve Farner Asphalt. They've done this crack filling for us in the past and has always done a good job.
As far as the crack filling, they provide their own traffic control too, correct?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the Barner asphalt quote.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the crack filling quote of Farner Asphalt. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Action item number 8, request to approve the pavement marking bid from AAA Striping.
Yes, so we received 3 bids for traffic marking services, or for traffic marking this year. Low bid was AAA Striping Services at $184,015.24. Our estimate was $212,678.67, so 13.5% under the estimate. This year, what that striping entails is virtually all of the center lines and a large portion of the fog lines around the county. So the amount of striping this year is higher than what we've done in the past few years, but we badly need additional striping on the fog lines. So,
Dewey?
Does this include bike lanes, like on areas that have the wider shoulder and stuff?
Yeah, so any place that has the wider pavement that has, actually what it's doing is we're matching the striping that's out there now, and like La Crescent, we stripe that every year, all the fog lanes for the bike lanes and stuff. So yes, it does. Within this, there's also a little bit of city work as well that the cities will be reimbursing us for. Usually Caledonia and La Crescent both have a little bit in it. If I remember right, we don't have Caledonia in it this year, but we do have La Crescent.
Okay.
So like that road,
Go ahead, Derek.
so like that road in Pine Creek that's got a bike lane. You're going to double stripe that on that shoulder, or
In Pine Creek. So anything that has,
isn't that a
Right.
designated bike trail? I mean, wasn't that when that was built wider for a bike path, or am I wrong on that?
County 6. So yeah, so we'll have the one fog line. We're not going to have a double stripe. Just the one fog line at 12 foot off the center line, and then it has an additional 4 feet of pavement outside that. But it's not striped with bike symbols and a double.
Right. Yeah. Well, when I ride bike, I need more than 4 feet because that looks pretty darn narrow there to me. So, but I was assuming when that was going to be built, it was going to be a little extra there, more than usual. But
Yeah, it is more than usual, but it's not
a
definitely
lot.
overboard. Yes.
Yeah,
we go, 6 to 8 feet, like what most of the trunk highways go.
Yeah, I tell people there's a bike lane there, and they say, where is it at? Whatever.
One question, Brian, with regard to the striping. Is it just the paint, or do they put the reflective?
Yep. The reflective beads are included with that.
So we have a motion.
Not yet.
Oh, I make a motion. We accept the bid for striping.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept AAA striping services striping quote. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes. Motion carries.
Yay!
Action item number 9. The seal quote bid from Scott Construction plus overrun quantity.
Yes. So we received bids from 4 contractors on seal coat. The low bid was Scott Construction with a bid of $233,083.36. Our estimate was $320,650.70. So 27.35% under the estimate. We got really good numbers this year, especially with how oil prices have kind of started to rise. This quote on County 25, what we had in the original quote when we were looking at it, comparing to how much money we had budgeted, is that we were going to seal coat the part from Jumper Road over to County 21, the part that got repaved last summer. We were going to skip the part that goes from Jumper Road down to the intersection with County 6, which is about 3 miles. Looking at what we have in our budget with where these bids come in, instead of having the seal coat stop at Jumper Road, we would like to extend it all the way down to County 6, which is what we typically try to do if we can afford it, is to seal coat the whole length of the roadway at a time. Estimated cost to do that work would have a net cost of $67,850. which is still 22,000 under our original budget for 2021. So, so my recommendation is to approve the low bid from Scott Construction and to overrun quantities to stripe the remaining 3 miles of County 25.
Dewey,
Is this chip seal or slurry seal?
Chip seal.
It'd be going on that new road? It's
Yeah. Yeah, so this will be a FA2 stone. It's a smaller chip. So as the roadway is going to worse condition, we use bigger chips. They do create that little bit more noise. So the smaller chips generally will work better on the new road. The reason why we do it on a new roadway is because when you put the pavement down, you have about 6 to 8% air voids in it. Over time, tires kind of need that in, and the air voids go down to 4%. By doing that seal coat on top, you keep that moisture from penetrating into that new pavement, and it keeps it from getting brittle and cracking as quickly. The state recommends that you do that within the first year of pavement going down. So.
And that there's chips, are they granite or limestone?
We bid it out as limestone chips with fog seal. However, a lot of contractors choose to, depending on where their aggregate quarry, where they have the chips available, they bring in limestone anyways. So, or bring in granite at times. So it could be either or, but due to the fog seal, we've been going with the limestone.
this includes County 24 down from 3 down to Freeburg too, correct?
Yes. So, and the reason why we're doing that is, similar way to help kind of keep the moisture out. And then that roadway, because it was a really large rock that gets put in with that out of seal mix, this will help quiet that road down some from where it's at.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to approve Scott Construction for the seal coating.
I'll second it.
Does that motion include the additional?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Motion to approve the seal bid from Scott Construction with the inclusion of the additional approximately 3 miles of County 25 down to County Highway 6.
Yes.
Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carried. Action item 10, request to approve the master agreement with Bolton and Mink for professional services.
Yep. So this is the kind of a continuation from the prior board meeting. Have the master agreement put in place with Bolton and Mink we'd like to approve. It is essentially an identical agreement to what was done 3 years ago. All the terms have stayed the same, but the only change in it is kind of what services they might perform for us based on the results of the master planning effort that has taken place. So this would include, if we have them do any work for us associated with land acquisition or hangar development space, that would include that. There is no cost in this. What this master agreement does, it sets the basis that any work order above gets built upon this. So this has been sent on to our county attorney's office, and Sam agrees with the language as it's been provided.
So did we agree to did we agree a 5-year master agreement contract last week?
Yeah, so this is the official language that we'll need to have signed by the board. So last week we didn't have the actual agreement language at that time. So
well, we voted on file number 3 for a 5-year master agreement contract. So this is just on top of that or something? Or?
This is the actual contract. So last week it was, approved to work with them on developing the agreement.
That was a draft versus the final document.
This is the final agreement now. So.
Well, I think with the information I've seen here, you need to have that available, and again, there's some FAA assistance and payment of it sometimes, so I'll move to approve the master agreement with Bolton and Menk.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries. Action item 11, request to approve work order number 1 for the preparation for land acquisition of Bolton and Menk.
Yeah, so this goes on top or in conjunction with that master agreement is the first work order, which is services that Bolton Mink will provide regarding land acquisition. So the terms are in here, the scope, on what the county would do and what Bolton Mink would provide to us. The total lump sum agreement cost is $19,303. Out of that, it'll be split 90% FAA, 10% local. So the local share is $1,930. There's always a potential that the FAA amount increases, or the state picks up a portion of that. But at this point, this would commit the county to $1,930.
So go ahead, Debbie.
I was just gonna ask, this is the 7 acres that we're discussing by the airport. And
Correct.
do I have a visual on that? Is that east of 76 and north of the entrance to the park, that house and land there? Is that the 7 acres?
It'll be east of 76 and south of the entrance going into the airport. So there's it's a farm field down there. There's a little pond area. That is the area that's being looked at. There's an appraisal that's taking place on it right now. The landowner has been talked to about this a couple times, both by myself here a few months ago and the appraiser here last week. So
what is that exactly are they going to do then, the Bolton and Make on this? Are they doing the negotiating, or what exactly are they? What are these services? What are they going to be doing for these services?
Yep. So the big thing that they would do, one is that they will review everything that we have here associated with it. So anything that the county has with the appraisal, they'll provide some review on that. The main thing that's with this is the environmental documentation that needs to be reviewed and submitted. So you need to get out there, look if there's any wetlands, if there is, delineate that, mark that off, get approval for any impacts with that. If there's any burial mounds, if there's anything, it's kind of a requirement that's to use FAA funding is to go through an environmental review. So the vast majority of the cost with this is that environmental review.
So this has to be done before we can even consider purchasing that land.
Yeah, without this, the FAA will not provide any money. So if we wanted to purchase it 100% local money, we could. If we want to have FAA pay for 90% of it, we need to do this.
There might be some frogs out there that we don't know about, some rare ones.
There could be a lot of things. I'm not anticipating anything, but
well, my contention or issue with this is that I have never heard from any of my constituents that, Eric, we need to expand that airport. I'm all for maintaining what we have, but I have never heard of anybody saying we need to expand that airport and build $1 million hangar on there. I understand this is only 90%. Covered, 10% county. That sure is a help, but this is, I guess I haven't seen the facts and the why and the reasons why we need to do this.
Yeah, so I don't know if Commissioner Burns wants to jump in at all, sitting through the master planning process, but some of this is on top of just maintaining what you have out there. As part of maintaining what you have out there is that the front row of hangars, there's stuff that's within the hangar obstacle-free area. So some of the existing, that front row of hangars, especially in the arrival departure building, that's closer to the runway than what current standards are. So ideally, the FAA and everyone wants those hangars to be gone. And in the future, if those hangars had to be replaced, there's a good chance we were told that we can't replace them at that same location because we're creating obstructions or putting obstructions back in an area that's not allowed to have hangars. So if you look at that on the maintaining side, is that this is kind of part that's probably needed just to maintain and keep this airport sustainable going forward. Now,
we need to buy the land in order to maintain what we have. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, ultimately, when stuff gets replaced in the future, and I don't know how long those hangars are going to last out there. I mean, there's a potential of them saying that you can't put new hangars back at that same location. The other thing is that we are at a bare minimum threshold. We're only a couple planes over the threshold. Sometimes it drops down to one plane over the minimum threshold to keep receiving $150,000 worth of entitlement money to the airport each year. That would go away if we drop down a couple planes below where we're currently at. So by having more space available, it does kind of add some additional insurance, I would say, that helps us to ensure that we're not going to drop below that minimum threshold. So is it absolutely critical, essential that we need to do something, that we need to buy land? No. However, it is definitely recommended that we proceed down this path. And once you get into the hangars.
Recommended by the FAA?
FAA, Minot Aeronautics. Yeah, flyers, anyone you talk to, so that's, familiar with our airport, they all make that recommendation. I do know that, there's definitely some users or some areas of the county that use the airport or has more value in it than other parts of the county. So, long term, if we don't do this now, is something going to happen over the next 5 years that changes this? No, probably not. However, if we can get that land acquired at this point, it might be easier than trying to acquire it in 5 years or whatever length down the road.
So you're talking like a threshold, 1 over, 1 under. Who keeps track of that threshold, or how do you know how many planes are coming in and out?
Yep. So we need to keep track of the number of planes that are based out at the airport. We submit that to the FAA and Minot Aeronautics every year. So we have the N numbers, we submit documentation. So that is, notification to them of how many planes we have. Those N numbers are tracked on their system so they know, are we claiming that plane and some other airport claiming that plane? If they're both claiming it, then someone needs to resolve that. Usually the airports talk to each other to find out where is that plane, how is that, and talk to the pilots. So it's a self-reported number that's kind of verified based on if the N numbers are showing up someplace else, then they know there's some issue that needs to be resolved.
So we have 2 empty hangars now, or 3, or what's the number?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the current one, but it's right around 2 or 3. Our new lease agreements that are getting ready to put into place here soon kind of has a little bit of additional teeth on trying to ensure that those hangars have planes in them, that they don't sit there empty without planes for years on end, or at least have the owner make an attempt to get planes in there.
So 9 is the cutoff, and we're at 12. Is that what I get?
I think 11 is the last
11.
number I saw, but it varies. I mean, we've had it down into 10. A few years ago we had it at 12. It definitely varies up or down a plane or 2 each year.
So if we build these new big hangars, then we'll get more planes, so more people will come.
I am told that there's demand for more planes. We do get phone calls asking if we have space available for rent or for people to build. There's no guarantee.
Fact is that if we don't continue with this and acquire the land, let's say we have a big storm come through and knock down some hangars, may not be able to put them back because of the proximity to the runway and whatnot, and then we don't have any place to go with them. The land would give us an opportunity to expand. That isn't something we're going to do right now. And as far as the cost of these hangars, the county could build the hangars and lease them for a higher rate, or the people could lease a spot and build their own hangar. So from a cost point of view, it might not be as expensive to the county as we're thinking, because we have some options that way. But if we don't acquire the land, there are no options at all.
I kind of look at it as being, having space available for a second septic, you know, when we look at land use, and a lot of times the size of a lot is determined by, do we have room for some expansion? I agree with Bob that this is an expansion possibility, but if we don't move on it now, it may be gone when we do need it.
Although the land will always be there. I mean,
the willing seller will be the issue.
It seems like this is a preliminary process to do the assessments at a cost that we can afford right now to move forward in the future.
You're looking at around $1,200 probably, with the 1,000 for our share of them others, and what do we figure, 250 of the, was another item that we, so we're looking at probably $1,200 to $1,400. What do you think, Bob? Is that kind of close?
it was $1,900.
$1,930 right now.
Okay.
If we pay the full 10%, there's a potential that we get an additional 5% from FAA because of COVID, or get an additional 5% from the state of Minnesota.
But the 90% is guaranteed.
That's guaranteed.
I just, you know, I'm not dead set against this, but I'm just saying that I get more requests for other things in my district other than airport expansion. So, I mean, as far as I can see Bob and Greg, where you guys are coming from on how it'll help your areas probably more than it would help mine. But that's the only issue I have.
When we have airport meetings, we have 20 or so people that are there, probably 15 or so from Greg and my districts. I know it doesn't.
Are those flyers that are there, or are they just regular?
Mostly flyers. Mostly flyers.
Yeah, we have to think about the whole county as a whole, as a commissioner.
I do talk to a couple of businesses that have occasion to have people come in at the airport to visit.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that doesn't get used. I'm not saying that. Like I say, I have no problem maintaining what we got. I just don't see the need for an expansion as for just for the sake of, if we don't spend it, we're going to lose it. I mean, we're spending money that we're afraid to lose, and you know, if we build it, then they will come. I mean, that's so kind of logic is just doesn't sit well. But I mean, that hangar, I saw that work up last week about. I mean, that one hangar is going to be like $1 million now. I'm not saying there ain't somebody that will come in there and spend that. You know, more power to them. That'd be great. But the total cost of the whole plan to the county over so many years is going to be like $350,000 if you figured up our share of that.
And that's if we build the hangar.
No. This is if they. The 90% was, you know, it was going to be a lot more than that, of course, for everything, but the lights and all that stuff. So,
right.
I do think we need to move forward on at least getting the evaluation done at this cost. And I'll make a motion to approve the work order.
For a second, yeah, I second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
No.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1. And that takes care of our action items for the day. We'll now move on to discussion items. Board updates. I got a long list of stuff here to
What?
comment on,
That means you can go first then.
and I will do.
Help me.
Now, the first thing on my list is I just want to report that the Augadall issue down by Sheldon is basically coming to fruition as it's getting taken care of. And I have issuing of the permits and whatnot, and be able to start pretty quick. Bolton and Mink, we just talked about. Had a meeting with Brian and Tess the other day with regard to the steps on the east side of the courthouse. And getting plans put together for the steps so that we don't have somebody that throws in a bid that's ultra cheap but doesn't last for 4 or 5 years. I mean, we got to have something that's going to have some longevity to it. And Tess was going to check with architect, or an engineer or designer anyways, with regard to the steps for a plan that we can use for a request for proposals from contractors to replace those steps. I don't know, Tess, I see you're there. Anything to add to that? Apparently not. Then had a meeting the other day in the County Justice Center with regard to the new rules for the use of deadly force. And with the sheriff and the Houston County Health Human Services, as well as other emergency personnel. And I mean, there's new rules, new regulations, and additional training or specialized training that's required. The only thing is there's nobody in the state of Minnesota certified to do that training. So we have to follow enforcement of a new law effective March 1st, but nobody that can give us the training for the new law. So it's kind of a messy affair, and we've got people that are a little concerned. I mean, you got somebody that's threatening to commit suicide, let them go. It's not illegal. So, I mean, there's some problems with the new law. It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction to what's happened in the cities. I understand there's need for change, but that way. And one constituent called me who lives on a township road. He goes and cleans up his ditch. He lives on a bluff side. And the township road goes down into the valley, and he goes, cleans up the ditch, and then he brings the stuff up to the waste center and was billed for the tire that he took out of the ditch.
That's not supposed to happen. Yeah.
You gotta notify the county that you're bringing it so that they know not to charge it. The guys out there don't know who's bringing in what and that it's from cleaning up a ditch or not. So Aaron, I talked to him about this, and he says, as long as, you clean up the ditch, call zoning so that they can tell the boys that you're bringing it in, and then bring it in and you don't get charged. Mm-hmm. So there just has to be some communication. I think we should tell the township chairman that that's the policy. Don't want to start telling people just say you took it out of the ditch and all their garbage is no charge.
So who are they supposed to call?
It would be Aaron's office.
Okay.
And had another meeting the other day in here in the commissioner's room with a supplier or a vendor that has the lifts, the small elevators to put over here next to the platform, and what it would take to do that. He's putting together numbers, and then we'll request for proposals from other suppliers, but we've got the room to do it. It's just a question of some of them you go in this way and you got to go straight out to get out, and some of them you can go in one way and then turn left or right to get off. But on that left or right, you got to have more room because of the, spinning a wheelchair or something. So they're looking at which way is the most advantageous to build onto the platform or the dais up here for the board chamber, so that we can get that elevator lift put into place. But it is something that there's more to it than just ta-da, there it is. I mean, there's some design and whatnot. Had a meeting with the Houston or the Hiawatha Valley Mental Health, both the planning and the regular board meeting. Dewey was there for the regular board meeting. Planning, they have a lot of different things that are in the works, including roadway replacement, and they have one of their facilities that's being completely renovated. And I think it's a good plan to start renovating some of these old buildings one at a time and get them done. But for the service they provide, it's expensive compared. They spend a lot of money on getting things ready to go. So those are the meetings that I've attended, the things that are of interest. I didn't talk about the bike committee meeting. Eric, I'm leaving that up to you down in Houston. That's it for me.
Yeah.
So who wants to go next?
Well, I'll just jump in after, because Bob and I were both at the bike trail committee meeting that was held at the L Center in Houston, and Bob notified me of this meeting, and so I went. And there's discussion about getting the bike trail going between Houston and Hoka, and then from Hoka to La Crescent, and tossed around ideas on how to get about going on this. There's several different versions of how to do it, whether to have DNR involved or not, or if you don't have DNR involved, you could do a 20-year lease agreement with a landowner and have it more of a private agreement. But then there's the concern of maintenance and upkeep, and some people don't want to see, you'd always have to have a committee or somebody to help maintain that and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the meeting, what they decided to do is to work in it in smaller chunks, like going from Houston to Mound Prairie on 25 there, and then from La Crescent to Hoka. Joe Tessing and Mike Beckman were there, along with Steve Weiser, Chris Peterson. Bob, does she work for the town of Campbell now, or is it La Crosse?
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and then there was another lady there. I forget her name, but anyway, it was just discussed that they would work on those two ends and worry about because the total of this, there are going to be a lot of bridges. It's going to be an expensive project. So they're thinking from Houston to Mound Prairie is the least expensive as far as getting, bridges brought in and stuff like that. And a lot of some of the railroad dike is still there. Some of it isn't. I think all of us agree that this would be a good thing for the community, and as long as we have willing landowners that are willing to sell this land to do that, and not go the way of eminent domain, that's off the table. Mm-hmm. But like Joe said, if you come to a spot where somebody says absolutely not, then you're going to have to find a way to go around, and hopefully there's a way to go around. So, and then the Crescent to Hoka, the big issue is getting through the marsh there, just outside of La Crescent, and to get headed towards Hoka. There's not a lot of room on that highway there, and that railroad dike is close to the road, and that's going to be a toughie, and that's going to be an expensive one too, as far as there's talk of using a boardwalk or some concrete somehow or whatever. But so it's in the very early stages. But you know, I've done some biking. I should have done more in my life, but I have done some, and it's been a lot of fun that people can use that. And given with the pandemic and the COVID, that I think a lot more people have gone out and used those trails too. So,
Yep.
Bob, you could add.
I'm going to add a couple of things. Dick Weezer's, the other lady that was there is Dick Weezer's wife, Sheila.
Okay. Yep.
And Dick Weezer really likes the idea of having an elevated broad boardwalk through the swamp from La Crescent to at least to the intersection at Miller's Corner. Because he said that would be novel and an unusual thing, and people would ride the bike trail just so they could go on that boardwalk. But like Eric said, expensive. But right now they're having the bridge built to nowhere in La Crescent that the bike trail goes up and over and ends up in La Crescent, and it has no place to go. So it's kind of important that this continue as well. So, but that's.
Yeah, that I think Steve, or not Steve, but Dick brought a pamphlet along showing those boardwalks down at Gulf Shores in Alabama. And when we were down there, we went on those boardwalks, and they're nice. They're nice. But I did find out who paid for that, and it was settlement money from the BP oil spill in the Gulf. I gave that money to the state of Alabama, so that's what they designated it for. So, I mean, they're elevated, they're up on high poles, and they're wide, so you can ride a bike or walk on them. It gets a little tricky when you meet somebody, but it can be done. But
they have them up in the Twin Cities. Like if you're going down France Avenue, there's a long one that goes across the swamp, and I say a long one, but it's 400 yards probably. It's not like we're talking mile, but even out over the cattails and whatnot. But Eric said those are expensive.
yeah, and every time I go by there when I'm hauling corn, I'm looking over there and I'm thinking, how is this? Because it's really swampy out there, and I've never been out in that far in that marsh area, but maybe there's some high spots you could have just regular trails and then they'll go to a boardwalk or something. But anyway, it's just like I said, early talks, early stages, trying to get something going. Joe and Mike were going to, and I think Dick was to talk to some landowners and get a feel. I think that's important to speak with the landowners first before you get any engineering done or contracting with some people to look into that. So,
Yeah.
The other meeting I had was the personnel committee meeting last week. That we discussed the appraiser position. We both Teresa and I were pretty much in agreement, and we need to move forward and get help in that office to get things back to speed. I think Lucas is on the right track on his ideas. I noticed he had a lengthy article in the paper last week explaining a lot of situation, and that was a good thing. So I think that's something we need to really strongly consider and look into. So I also brought up the possibility of looking at restructuring in the environmental services office, as far as having a planning and zoning administrator and then a solid waste coordinator. I know Fillmore County does it that way. And I just shot that out there as an idea. And I don't know, Bob, you were going to start up a committee on looking at.
I waited until after the elections were over, so I knew who the new board chairman are.
Okay. Yep. And then look into you're going to look into solid waste and see what needs to be done to make things. I think after that gets going, we can maybe look at that proposal.
Have we had any truck drivers yet?
What did you say, Greg?
Did we hire a truck driver to replace the one that retired? Does anybody know?
I haven't heard that one
Yes.
yet. Tess would know if there's been applications. I hope so.
And, we were gonna hire a temporary employee as, maybe we gotta sit down and discuss all this one of these days so we get it done.
I think the closing just was last Friday, though, application closing, right, for that part-time position.
I believe so. I think
Yeah.
it was for the one in the personal tech clerk too in the
Yes.
appraiser's
Right,
office.
For both offices, yes.
Do
So
we
they
know,
probably haven't done interviews yet.
did we have applicants?
I don't know.
Tess, are you listening?
I hope we got some.
We will have an update for you next week.
Yeah, that's about
When
it.
I leave the chamber, I'll go and check with them about an update.
Okay, sounds good.
That's all I have.
Greg, what do you got?
Well, I had a couple of questions, but you kind of took care of the one about the ramp. I was going to ask you if there was a ramp in there. I might come up there for a meeting, but we don't have one, so that's fine. And my other questions we kind of just discussed about the solid waste. So I guess I got a SEMCAC meeting next Monday night. Did you get on the board, Bob?
No. What do you mean, did I get on the board?
SEMCAC board. They were talking about asking you.
I didn't have anybody ask me about that.
Okay. Outside of that, I guess I see our highway department buildings starting to see things happen.
Yeah. I sent everybody, I don't know if everybody got that update on progress.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
I don't know if Brian is still on there. Does he have any more to bring to the table, or we've had some nice weather, so hopefully they're making some good progress.
Yeah, I'm on here still. Video's off I moved it back. It'll have, won't see very good, but yeah, they're making good progress on the footings. They're working their way around. They're doing earthwork on the 3 acres that we acquired last year. They're working on getting that pond dug in. A lot of activity going on out here. Overall, they made really good progress this week. I think there's some additional things we'll be talking about at this next progress meeting that we'll have on Friday. But overall, I'm really pleased with the progress. A lot of activities, so it's nice to see everything going as it's been proceeding here in the last few weeks.
Good.
I do look at the schedule that they have and say to be in by the end of December is that's ultra aggressive there, boy.
Yes, I do agree. It's a very aggressive schedule. I think if we can get the hoop sheds built and get our product inside that prior to winter, along with getting our plow trucks inside the new building before winter, I think we'll be in good shape. If everything else gets delayed back a little bit, I think we can manage.
Yeah, they're gonna run into some material short or supply issues there, I think.
They got a lot of the rebar in already. That's good. That was the problem. I see they got quite a pile there now, so that should help.
Yep, all the metal rebar is in. They're going to be using some fiberglass rebar for the flooring. That is not in. That won't come in until they need it. It's just no reason to have it in the way by getting it too early.
Thanks, Brian.
If that's all you got, Greg, we'll move to Dewey.
You're muted.
You're muted, Dewey. Unmute.
There. I had a message going on. A couple of things. Part of the park committee meeting last week, I got some education on that. going forward, and we'll be reporting on that later as we finish that up. And I listened to the Hiawatha Valley deal yesterday to get a grasp of what our involvement, or being I'm an alternate, I wanted to see what it's about. And other than that, not much else shaking yet. I see I got a couple of meetings coming up later this week. I have them in front of me right now, but they're on my computer, so my brains are right in front of me here.
A lot to it, isn't there?
You ever?
I know I forgot to mention I was an extension meeting, but Teresa will touch on that. So.
Yes. Well, is it my turn now?
Teresa, we saved you for last.
You know, I usually have a long one. I don't have a real long one. Extension meeting. We did have a good extension meeting in person in the CJC basement. So that was kind of nice. You know, the local meetings, people really like to have in person. I think there was a thing about it's nice to Zoom when you're talking across the whole state and you don't have to drive to the cities or something. But, you know, these local meetings is kind of nice to meet in person. And we did have enough distancing, so it wasn't a problem there either. We talked next month, they're going to bring up information on the memorandum, which has to be signed next fall with the University of Minnesota for our extension. Also, we're going to bring up budget, which they're trying to prepare for our August meetings before we set our preliminary budget. And I did let our Lisa Dirks, our regional director, know about contacting both Donna and Carol to work together with them, and so everybody will have the same information from them. We talked about the Farm Family of the Year, and we did have three people which we voted on, and we just got the names of them. They have to be contacted yet to see if they're willing to be the Farm Family for Houston County. I don't know if I can give out their names just yet. Maybe not, Eric?
Probably not.
Okay. Anyway, we had 3 good families that we nominated. So that was the gist of the extension meeting. We have really good progress with our 4-H director this year, working with a lot of the clubs. So that was a good thing. That was my main meeting. I did go to that American Rescue Plan that AMC put on through the state of Minnesota. It was a half-hour meeting last Friday afternoon, but it was just stats about this is how much money we're supposed to get. We don't know when we're getting it though yet. So.
And what we can use it for.
And what we can use it for, yes. And they're going to try and meet every Thursday and invite commissioners to join them, but I haven't got an invite yet for this week. So, but
I just kind of wish, I know this is how it probably works in politics, but you get the bragging first and then you get the details later. I'd rather have the details first and then the bragging you can do when it's all said and done and it's all going to work.
Yeah, we're going to get money, but we don't know when or what we can do with it. Yeah. But, and I too got the bike committee call from Dick Weezer about the bridge in La Crescent going nowhere. And I did refer him to Bob because I know he's on our bike committee, and he said you would get hold of Eric, your district. So, and I had a few other meetings or calls, I should say, from people across the area. Answered them all.
I just as a word of warning, I anticipate there will be a fair number of calls from campers with regard to the Wildcat Park and the lottery setup. Because we told them last year we were going to do one this year, and you know, I've been a loyal camper, and you know, you're taking away my spot. So there's going to be some calls about that from constituents and campers and whatnot that don't like the lottery idea. The one thing that we did discuss at the meeting was the loyal campers that we've had for years and whatnot will put their name in the hat twice compared to the newbies that haven't had a campsite, to give some advantage to those people that have been loyal to the campsite over the years. That's what we talked about doing.
So when they get there, if they get chosen, they can pick any spot they want, right?
That was one of the changes we made in the consent, including the spot they got now. The
Yeah.
old rule was you couldn't take the same spot back.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Any spot, including the one you've got. And if you want to change with somebody after you've got your spot, that's fine. You can do that without notifying anybody in the first 2 weeks after the lottery, and then just let Jake know. So, but I know there'll be some unhappy people, but
So you're telling me with this lottery, if you had a campsite there for 20 years, you could lose that baby and be kicked out, huh?
that's right.
I'm glad you're the chairman, Bob.
But it's the ordinance. It's, the fact that we haven't done the lottery over the years since, 2014 or 2008
7, wasn't it?
or 7 or whatever. That's kind of on us, on the county, for not following the ordinance and doing the lotteries the way we're supposed to in the agreement with the Corps of Engineers. Their opinion being that that's public land, and somebody, just because they use it all the time, it's not theirs, and they don't
They don't
right
own
now
it.
we're dealing with people think, I've been there a long time, that's my spot. Really, it's not supposed to be.
So the lottery will be for 22.
22 and beyond. And then 2022 is when our agreement with the Corps comes to an end and we have to renegotiate.
Okay.
So it'd be a good year to do the lottery, to be prepared for the Corps.
So is Wildcat officially open yet, or no? No.
May 1st.
May 1st. Yep.
Pending flooding, yeah.
This weather has me thrown off. I'm ready to plant corn, and I'm thinking, no, I better not. It's late.
You bring the snow around for sure.
Might save all the butt chewings if we let the Corps do the lottery.
But they don't want to manage it,
Well,
The county can have it, the county can manage it. Any money you make off of it has to go back to the park. Well, we don't want it. If they have to take it over, they'll just shut it down.
Well, I'm sure they're not gonna keep it open. You know that.
All right. Anything else, anybody?
no.
Otherwise, I'll ask for public comment. Anybody from within the county organization that wants to make a comment? Because I see nobody from public. Interesting, it's not even 11 o'clock. I thought this was going to be a really long meeting based on the agenda, and the 83 pages that we had to read.
Yeah, I know. A lot of it's Brian, though.
Ooh,
I was just gonna ask Brian, if he's heard anything about road bans. That's been a question of contractors around here.
Have not heard anything. Typically, the quickest is 6 weeks after they go on, 8 weeks standard. So I would have to look back at the official date when they went on, but I would say it's probably going to be in that six to 8 week mark. 6 weeks would be my guess for this year.
Didn't they go on to March 1st? Or no?
No.
I'll look it up real quick.
That's the first part of the month, I know that.
Yes, so it went on up to the 2021 dates.
So 21's a 9-ton road, right?
March 4th is
March
when they,
4th, yeah.
so 21. I will look that up as well here. 21 is probably capable of being a 9-ton. I don't know that we officially have it as 9-ton, or might be, but
Well, it's not posted, so, or maybe you don't do that posting, but
maybe 4,000 always.
just checking.
So
Just a little reminder, Brian, on 21. You know where you fixed that cave washout on that down that hill from Mountain Prairie there?
Yep.
For some reason, there's a one approach there that's bumpier and all get out. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm just saying that just that one, the top side is a little bumpy there. But
Okay. Two things. One is that County 21 is 9 times clear length. So
yeah.
And when I said yes, there is the area that the roadway failed on the east side of Mount Prairie where we had to put on new asphalt on top, and then there's the area on the west side where it's just failure on the outside. You're talking about the one on the east side with the pavement patch.
Oh, okay.
That the one you're talking about with the bump?
Yep.
Okay. I can take a look at that. I haven't driven across it here since the frost came out.
But them other ones you fixed, they're really good. So I know I personally thanked the guys when they were fixing them last year. So
Having heard no public comment, I guess we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? We'll vote by roll.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
Now I am off around the county building.